Welcome to the Merideth Show. We are thrilled because Dr. Teri Rouse is back in the house and back on the Merideth Show again with her amazing stories of courage. And I have a treat for you because Dr. Teri Rouse is not only a spectacular parenting coach, she is a 7-time best-selling author, and she's here to share a little bit about her new book, Untamed Chaos, and share a little bit about her story you may have not heard before, because she walked away from a tremendous career in education to follow her heart for her second act. I'm so glad you're here on the show to share with everybody. Welcome back, Dr. Teri.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here again and share all this new and exciting stuff that's going on.
So much. I mean, you're not just a 7-time best-selling author, you're also actually a best-selling international author, if we could say that. So, woo, we get to celebrate that. That just happened this past week. What a great moment for you.
Yes.
And what I love about you is you're very, very authentic and real. You've been through it with your family, and you've figured out that you have a peaceful parenting process. Yes,
I do.
To take people out of chaos. But before you really came up with that framework, you learned a lot from your own family. You had a very challenging time, from what I understand, working with your stepson, which you now call your bonus son.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And through the years, you've learned a lot about what works and doesn't work when you have challenges at home with the kids, right?
Correct. Absolutely. So many challenges, a lot of yelling and screaming, which doesn't work. But we all do it.
Yes. Guilty sometimes.
It's a natural thing that we do. We don't take the pause. We react rather than respond. And so I really took a step back from that yelling and screaming and I knew that there had to be a better way. And so I went back to school and I did a lot of studying, and I took the best of what I knew from other parents and what I experienced myself and the things that were working in school. And I put them all together and put together the real peaceful parenting framework.
So what's really cool about you is you have an EDD. That's where you get the doctor from.
That is correct.
Tell us what it's in.
It is in special education with a study in positive behavior intervention supports.
Wow. So you literally know your stuff.
Yes.
And you have the education to back it up and the experience, which is amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
And speaking of experience, you're actually an expert in autism. Tell us a little bit about your credentials, because you've worked in schools for many years.
Sure. So I am an early and behavior interventionist and an autism and reading specialist. And so basically what that means is that I have studied all of those areas to the point where I can help parents and teachers pinpoint things that they need to adjust, not only educationally, but behaviorally in each of those areas.
So important, because a lot of us are living in chaos at home, whether it's
Yes,
with
we
a
are.
parent or our company. All this information is very transferable, and we'll talk about that in a moment. You walked away from a very long and fabulous career as an educator because you had a calling for something bigger. Tell us about that.
I was teaching in higher ed. I was teaching teachers how to teach and behavior and all things like that. And it got to a point where I just felt like there was something more that I was supposed to be doing, that I wasn't supposed to be in a classroom in that sense. And so I literally walked away from teaching at colleges and universities to put all of the pieces together for the real peaceful parenting framework and to put it out into the universe, because I really, from my heart, believe that this is a way to help families and children be the best that they can be and live in the peace that they all want. We all want that. We don't want to be in chaos, but we all have chaos. And so how to navigate through that and still understand that there are going to be things that make us, crazy, and there are going to be things that set us off, and but again, taking the pause rather than just jumping all of the time. So it's one of the many things that I talk about.
There's a beautiful pause, and you actually have a framework around it. Let's give an overview to people watching at home who are in chaos right now.
Sure.
Need your help. And by the way, Dr. Teri is always available for consultations.
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
So I talk a lot about using positive attention. I talk about allowing children to have control over things in their life. And I'm not saying you should give them the car keys or access to the bank account or the credit cards. I'm saying, give them choices that are age appropriate, allow them to make decisions, allow them to stand with the consequences. But the big thing is to also, as adults, whether you're a parent, grandparent, caregiver, teacher, whatever, is to model that in a way that is appropriate, so that when children see all of us as adults maneuvering through chaos, they can kind of go, it's possible. I don't have to have a tantrum. I don't have to throw myself on the floor. I can learn to communicate through my parents or my caregivers or important adults in my life.
I love that. And peace is actually the goal for everybody, whether
Correct.
you're in the corporate world, you're at home, like we need to practice what we preach.
That's correct.
And take it wherever we go. So it's a powerful thing. In fact, you said one of your fans who bought Untamed Chaos. Let's talk
Correct.
about that book.
So it was great. I had Untamed Chaos out, and I had put up a post about using positive attention. And she commented and she said, I just used this with my team this morning. And I went, with my team? How about that? So somebody connected the fact that positive attention is not only for children. We as adults sometimes don't know how to give it, and we certainly don't know how to receive it.
Amen. Isn't that the truth?
Amen.
But you are so beautiful at breaking it down and helping people. I know that some of my friends have you on retainer, and I love that because they have two little ones and they're brand new parents. Tell us how you help people from the beginning, soup to nuts.
There's a lot of different ways, but one of the first things I do is I have a program where we can have one-on-one conversations, and it's based on what each individual family needs. So it's not a cookie cutter, it's a framework.
That's right, because every family is different and so are their needs. I get that.
Correct. And one of the things that's so great about it is when a parent is ready to have a conversation, they schedule their call with me. This is after the initial conversation. But
by the way, if you're watching at home, we'll tell you Dr. Terry's contact information. We'll bring it up on the screen so you can schedule your consult, which is complimentary. I love that. You're so generous. I love that about you.
Well, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So if I believe that for most people, I can give you some tools that will be helpful to you. But again, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I want to give everyone the opportunity to at least get some feedback, get something that they can start with.
Everybody needs a little help. Let's just say that. I agree. I'm into that. One of the things I love about the way you shine is time and time again, you walked away from things that weren't serving you and you made courageous decisions to make a change. For anybody watching at home who might want to walk away from a very, very big career that you had, for example, in education, similarly, if somebody's watching at home and wants to make a move, what did it take to find the courage to make a change? Because that's your shine. On every show, we talk about a moment where you shine, and you are in your gift and your glory. I know how much people love working with you, and you're a gift to the world. But it takes a lot of courage to take the leap and walk away from regular pay, all benefits, all the things, right?
It did. And I think the thing that really solidified walking away was the fact that I didn't feel like I was making the impact on the children, that even though I was teaching in higher ed, I still had contact with children that I could, and I knew that I could make if I stepped away and do what I'm doing now.
To work with parents.
To work with parents.
Absolutely. It's so true. It's a full package
there.
here. Yes, everything starts with our family in our beginning. We all have a beginning and we all have the opportunity to level up. And I love that you have such a wonderful framework and that you have something called Snuggle Bunny Story Time for little ones to get involved. You have a membership that people can join.
Correct.
And you read them stories everywhere that they are. But before we close it out, you're also an amazing speaker. You have such a huge story about not only leveling up and facing courage, but overcoming adversity over and over and over again. So as we close out the show, I want to thank you for coming on and being willing to share your story. And I'd love for you to give some advice to somebody at home waiting to make their change. What does it take?
So I will just tell you that you have to follow your heart, and that If you are feeling so strongly about a situation, you know, my wise mother used to say, if you are crying more than you are smiling, if you're feeling sad more than you're feeling excited and happy, then it's time to move on. And it doesn't matter if it's in a relationship or in a job or in a sport or anything like that. It's time for you to move and follow your heart and find what it is that's going to make you shine.
I love it. And we'll end on that because it never gets better than you always thank you. Give me your hand. You always find a way to bring out the shine. Buy the book, people. Untamed Chaos. It is available now on Amazon.
Correct.
All of Dr. Teri's information is on your screen. Schedule a call. She is one of the most lovely, generous, kind parenting coaches. And she's available to book for speaking. Thank you so much, Miss Best-selling author. She's an international best-selling author. And she sure does shine. Thank you so much for watching the Merideth Show. Thank you, Dr. Teri, for coming out. And if you're watching at home, I know you know somebody out there doing something amazing. Whatever you do, don't keep it to yourself. Take a little time and share the love and share the shine. And please share this segment on TV. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon, right here in the Merideth TV studio, live from Los Angeles. Thanks for watching.
Be sure to follow The Merideth Show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.